Jeremy Bash, another aspect of whistleblower law. There was Rudy tonight on CNN speculating this was a Democrat holdover deep inside the administration, used the phrase deep state again, as everyone was expecting. Is he allowed to talk about whistleblowers that way? Is there not some equivalent of witness intimidation in these cases?
Well, I think clearly they want to silence anybody who sees wrongdoing by the president or by somebody at the White House. They want to silence that person. They want to cover things up. But I'd like to see the leadership of the National Intelligence Director's Office have at least as much courage and bravery as this whistleblower, one of their subordinates. Usually in a military or intelligence organization, you want the leader to have as much bravery and courage as one of the troops that they command. So we need to see that leadership from the community head, Joe Maguire. But we also need to see the Justice Department and the White House step aside and let the law play out. I do want to emphasize what Carol emphasized earlier, which is that if you look at the July 25th phone call between Trump and Zelensky, this is really potentially about a holding out the prospect that we would withhold military assistance from Ukraine unless the Ukraine investigated Joe Biden, who, of course, Trump believes is the most direct threat to his reelection. That's what this is about. This is the 2016 campaign all over again, except this time Trump is president. He's got military aid to hold as a weapon to achieve his objective.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.